I'm here to talk about humor. And to do that, I thought I'd need some help from a friend. So I brought Edna. I don't know if you can see her. She's a little bit small. And maybe you can't tell by looking at her, but she's actually very powerful and a moneymaker. She helped us get 150 million kroner to education in developing countries. We'll get back to how. First, into the funny business. So, for many years, my organization, SAI, the Norwegian Students and Academics International Assistance Fund, had been wanting to change what we believe are patronizing and stereotypical fundraising campaigns for African countries. We had been going around and pointing fingers and criticizing various organizations, but somehow our criticism didn't receive any recognition. Instead, some people actually got angry with us because they thought we didn't care about people who really are in need of help. So, last year we thought, okay, we have to do something new. We have to change the way we're doing things. And we came up with this video.
I'm basically heading up a team that's getting Africans together in this time of need for Norway, helping them out. A lot of people aren't aware of what's going on there right now. It's kind of just as bad as poverty, if you ask me. Sunlight puts smiles on people's faces. People don't ignore starving people, so why should we ignore cold people? Frostbite kills too. Africa, we need to make a difference in Norway. We need to collect our radiators, ship them over there, and spread some warmth, spread some light, and spread some smiles. Say yes to Radiate.
So, did you see anyone in the video point any fingers? Did you hear anyone say, "Stop portraying African countries in a negative and stereotypical way"? No? I think what they said was, "From Africa to Norway with a tropical breeze." It's fascinating, because nowhere in the video do we state our message at all. And still, people got it. Actually, about 2.3 million people have seen the video on YouTube. And probably some tens of millions have seen it through BBC, Al Jazeera, and other media. So, all it took was a sing-along song about radiators and tropical breezes. Who would have thought? Some of you might think that, okay, so you made this one quirky campaign and it worked. Big deal. But, well, we have actually done similar things many times. And it turns out that pointing fingers doesn't work. But twisting your message and being funny does. For most of you, when you look at this picture, you realize and you understand nothing. Especially if you're familiar with these Norwegian politicians who normally look pretty boring and gray. So, Why did we make this poster? Well, we've been working with student movements who are trying to create democratic change in their home countries for many years. But it turns out that students have a very big disadvantage. They're students. So, if authoritarian regimes feel like keeping them from creating a powerful movement, they make sure they expel the politically active students. And when some of the active students get expelled, other students are frightened from trying to create democratic change in their countries. What we have wanted to do was to create a program for students at risk, so that when politically active students get expelled, they'll be able to come to Norway and finish their education here. So, we thought to ourselves, how can we show people, and not least, politicians, how bad it is when politically active students get expelled? We asked ourselves, what would Norwegian politicians do if they were expelled for being politically active? And we thought about this, and we said, well, of course, it's natural. What any politician would do. They would play in a silly-looking country band, or danseband, as we say in Norwegian. No, was this not your initial reaction to my question? Was that not the first thing you thought of? Well, that's actually a key part of my message here today. That the detours you take, the confusion you create, contribute to deliver your message in an interesting way. And sometimes the detours you take can actually be the fastest, or maybe not the fastest, but the best way to reach your goal. So, you might not believe me, but I've got pictures to prove it. This is me slicing up a piece of cake with the Minister of Development earlier this month, actually. We are celebrating the launch of the Norwegian Students at Risk program. It's true. What we have worked for is going to be realized by the Norwegian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Our poster worked. Okay, maybe not only the poster, but it wasn't all the poster, but it definitely played its part. I mean, who can say no to this face? What's great about humor is that it's the perfect fear breaker. It lowers the threshold for people to get involved and to act. For most of us, we find it kind of intimidating to raise our opinion in public, especially to attend a demonstration or a political rally. But to share a humoristic picture or a funny campaign, to share it on social media and then to start up a conversation about it with your friends, that's something anyone can do. So this is where Edna comes into play. You see, this year has been election year in Norway. Everyone has been arguing over the Norwegian health services, the educational system, disastrous roads, and the price of gas and liquor, which makes all Norwegians drive to Sweden to buy cheap booze. But, what? Oh, Edna says it's real tough being Norwegian. Some of us thought that it might be useful to use the election to talk about what's happening outside of the wealthiest country in the world, to perhaps discuss the millions who do not have access to quality education or even to basic health services. We're talking about millions of people. Millions. That's quite a big message. A big issue. Now, who can better talk about big issues than tiny people? So we joined a group of youth organizations who were thinking as we did. And we spread out thousands of little people all over Norway. and got people to share the big messages on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the likes. And it worked. We ended the campaign with a development parade where the youth organizations and thousands of little Ednas joined in front of Parliament. Here, the Minister of Development promised 150 million kroner extra to education in developing countries next year. I've never seen Edna as happy. It turns out that tiny people are great for big messages. Humor works. So spread your message in a different way. Take a detour. Say it with the tiny people, with country music and radiators. Thank you.